Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So of course, it's been a very busy 24 hours, or should I say 48 hours, with the burial of our late Queen, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. May she truly rest in peace. Now that she has officially been laid to rest, of course, we know that Meghan and Harry are up to their old tricks. So, according to recent reports, Meghan and Harry actually scrambled from the UK literally an hour, within 2 hours of the funeral being complete, and they are currently, as I speak, jetting back on a private plane from Frogmore Cottage back to Montecito under the guise of desperately wanting to see their invisible children. So, this is a quick extract from an article. Now, apparently, not only have they left in a complete rage, but also they have left out of anger because Meghan actually wanted to negotiate private time with King Charles to establish the position and placement of her children in the royal line of succession. She wanted to have this very selfish and quite insensitive conversation about her children getting titles, the titles of prince and princess. So, according to many sources, Meghan and Harry are fighting for their children to get HRH, dormant titles, so that upon the age of 18, if they so wish and choose, they could possibly become working members of the royal family, which is quite ridiculous, and her timing is terrible. Because they was denied access to the king to have such an insensitive, inconvenient conversation at a time like this, you would think literally his mother has literally just been laid to rest. The Queen Elizabeth, who we loved so dearly, the ground hasn't even settled yet. It hasn't even been a week. And yet, here they were trying to negotiate private time with King Charles, and now they've left empty-handed and furious. They was going to actually fly the children over to the UK to negotiate further upon being granted some time with King Charles, because they foresaw that he would have time within the next few days to have this private meeting and this discussion to announce and discuss where he was going to put these children, and if they was going to get titled like Princess Charlotte, Little Louis, and Prince George. That hasn't happened. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex extended their visit to the UK in early September after the sombre news of the Queen's passing shook the nation entirely on September 8th as King Charles ascended to the throne. Harry and Meghan have not seen their two young children, Archie and Lily, in 2 weeks. It means that the two alleged doting parents will fly back to the US as soon as possible, according to a Telegraph reporter. They have already departed Frogmore Cottage just moments after the funeral, with her being laid to rest. Now, I love to explore the comments section because, of course, it always opens up the grey areas. The reality of it is that people are sick and tired of Meghan and Harry's antics, and during the entire royal burial, Meghan was desperately acting out and trying to get as much attention as she possibly could. She has come under fire and she has basically been mocked for her fake crocodile tear. We know that she has been exposed in an unearthed video clip of her basically saying that she's professional at being able to squeeze out a single tear from her left eye. And she demonstrated this. She purposefully wore non-waterproof mascara that was smudged and squeezed out a tear in order to get maximum coverage and to steal the limelight and the attention from other attendees and mourners at the funeral, which is quite disgusting. But this woman knows no bounds. This is what she does. If she's not even shedding tears for her own father, it's highly unlikely, and I doubt highly, that she would have been able to have shed tears for the late Queen Elizabeth from a genuine place. Everything about this woman is disingenuous. She has no time for her father who raised her, who doted upon her, who spoilt her, who spent his last dollar, dime, and pence on her. And yet here she was pretending to cry. A few comments have sprung up, and let me find a few ones that I think are quite appropriate. Someone has said, why did she want a one-to-one with Harry's dad and not her own? It just shows that she's the one who's in control and she wants out and possibly a massive payoff, which of course there's elements of that. People have also speculated that she directly wanted to negotiate the Queen's last wishes. She wants to find out if Archie and Lily are in the will and what kind of money they're going to be getting upon her death. Because, of course, the Queen would have had her private funds that she would have allocated down to her grandchildren, her great grandchildren, and, of course, her children. So she really wanted to know exactly that she was going to be in this will and that she was going to be getting some good cash out of it, which is just distasteful as well. But this is in line with Meghan Markle, this is in line with her character. So someone else has added, and just like that, the show will begin. I'm sure that now that the Queen has passed, once back in the US, they will start complaining about how unfairly they were treated by the royal firm at the funeral and how they accepted the unfair treatment with dignity and poise about how they did not receive their fair share of money. Memoirs and tell-all interviews will follow, because this is all the talents they have for milking the royal family saga for all the money that they possibly can. Another person has put, a break, you're very optimistic. Don't think she hasn't written dozens of press releases already. She's just going to work out which order to release them in. I'm 90% convinced there'll be a pregnancy announcement. Why a one-to-one with Harry's dad? It really is questionable. Another person has put, lousy pair, I hope King Charles strips them of their titles. Megxie has no shame. Crocodile tears. I'm not buying any of it. Another person has put, she requested the time alone with him, and that is not going to happen. Even if he had just said 5 minutes, his staff also would have been present and they would have been with him. Another person has said, phew, thank goodness they have finally left England. I bet the royal family can now take a deep breath, but we know Meghan is anxious to start trouble again. It would be funny after the funeral if Spotify bosses realised the overwhelming support for the royal family and decide to do something out of the box to get a heap of supporters and subscribers back and release all the terrible things that Meghan Markle said and try to erase later. Bring on the drama. Another person has put, now back to new episodes of House of Montecito, finding a new PR firm, the final push for Harry's memoir, continuous Spotify and Netflix troubles, and a new life without any titles. So this is another thing that people are really speculating about, because King Charles did actually say quite a few years ago that his mission, once he assumes and acquires the throne, would definitely be to slim down the monarchy, because he felt as though having an elaborate long line of people sucking from the British taxpayers' wealth, from our general collective purse, simply was something that he just wasn't down for. And he felt as though it was unnecessary, because I guess you find in the history of the royal firm that too many hands spoil the broth. And it seems as though with all the troubles of Prince A, Meghan and Harry, and there's been quite a few catastrophes in the history of the royal firm, I guess it would be easier to have some kind of restraint as to how many people have such senior positions of power. The reality of it is that people have basically said that their children are fake. They're rushing back to see fake children, and essentially they have left empty-handed. My personal conclusion is that there's quite a few things at play here, and I don't think it's as clear cut as what we would like it to be. I think there was a desperation to negotiate the will. There was also a desperation to get clarity as to who was in the will and how much was in the will. And there was definitely a desperation to have this private chat with Prince Charles about whether these children would be given HRH and be given titles altogether. Prince Charles does unfortunately have the power to grant Meghan and Harry titles. Whether he does it, I don't know if he's going to do it. But for now, for the next 2 to 3 days, I guess we have a break from the Meghan and Harry drama, because of course we have to wait on the edge of our seats to see what kind of delusional debacles he is going to put in that memoir. So with all that being said, guys, I'll be back with some more royal updates, and I'll be back with another video. Bye, guys.